Hello, and welcome to Japanese craft beer reviews. Today we will look at a beer from Nagoya, which is in the central part of Japan. And the brewery is called Kinshachi, and actually it's more formally Morita Kinshachi. So, as you maybe you can see on the I guess it's reversed here, I'm not sure, but Morita Kinshachi in Aichi, Nagoya, Japan. And Kinshachi has been around for a while. They actually, their parent company called Morita Corporation in 1884 decided to create a beer called Three Stars, and apparently they claim that they are the first brewer in the Chubu region, which is the central region of Japan around Nagoya, that they were the first brewer in that area. Well, the Three Stars failed, and they came back in 1996 as Morita Kinshachi and began making beer. They're most famous for a kind of unusual beer, aka miso lager, which is aka is red and miso is miso bean paste, which is used to make miso soup, and they put red miso, which is kind of the specialty of the Nagoya area. If you have dinner or have a meal in Nagoya in a restaurant, a Japanese meal, the miso soup that comes with it will likely be red miso, which is kind of a very full-featured sort of miso, very full-bodied and flavorful, certainly, and very rich. And so they made akamiso lager, and I've had that before. I don't recommend it. I recommend it as an experience, but not as a beer necessarily. But in any case, they've been around for a while, and they have made a number of beers. And I have a playlist of their beers on my channel, so you can check that out as well. So we're going to look at a few beers from them, two beers in fact, in this series. And if you go online, you can see their website. They have a lot of blah 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 about the delicate Japanese palate and beer that fits it and that sort of thing, which is kind of a popular topic among some brewers in Japan, how the beer they make fits Japanese food. And then there is something to that, of course. Certainly some light, crisp beer does go well with Japanese food, but it can kind of get into a sort of nationalistic bent if you go too far with it, I think. So, okay, well, that's enough of my blah blah blah, and let's move on to the beer now. Okay, so the beer we're going to look at first is called Kinshachi Pilsner, and it is a 5% Pils beer. It has been listed in the past on Rate Beer and on Untapped as Blue Label, of course. But now they've rebranded, or certainly relabeled, and it's simply Pilsner. On Rate Beer, this one has 30 ratings and an average of 2.8 and 19 percentile for all beers on Rate Beer, and 44 for its style, which is Pilsner. Not terribly high ratings. Untapped, there were 278 ratings for this beer, and the average is 3.21, quite a bit higher than the Untapped or the Rate Beer rating. I have had this before, and I'll tell you what my rating was after we get into it. Okay, let's open this one up here. This one has just malt and hops. It has German malt, German imported malt, and hops into it. Okay, so oh boy, that boomed out. All right. I've had this before. I didn't. It was 7 years ago, or a little bit more maybe. Let's give it a go. Okay, there's oh my, I can smell it already. They didn't say imported hops, but I'm guessing these hops are imported in the case. Okay. Or it's an off flavor. Well, let's check it out here. It is a lightly hazy, sort of very pale, almost kind of pastel yellow with a less than a half a finger of foam on top. And okay, you do get something that reminds me of Zatz hops, and I doubt if it is actually Zatz hops, but would be a good hop for, of course, a Czech style Pilsner. Maybe some corn starchiness, some grain. And what I have to say is probably wet cardboard. Let's try the flavor. Okay. It has a kind of fruity maltiness. And the hops intrude very quickly. Kind of a sharp bitterness. A little bit of butter, which is not good. Yeah, the drink by date is like 5 months away, 6 months away, so it should be in pretty good condition. Kind of a minerally note in late mid palates, a little bit salty. Yeah, and the buttery butterscotch thing comes up. It leads me to believe that it has this is enough flavor. Yeah. So it resembles a bad Pilsner Urquell. The Pilsner Urquell turned to bad. The bittering is a little bit hard, light saltiness, minerally, and finish. So I don't recommend this terribly highly. I gave it a 2.9, and that was almost 8 years ago. And so I don't know if I'd go any higher now. Really, a lot better Pilsners you can buy out there, and I hope you do. Okay, well, again, this was called Kinshachi from Morita Kinshachi Company, Pilsner, Blue Label, if you're looking on Untapped or Rate Beer. I don't check Beer Advocate these days because they have so few people in Japan who are actually rating. So, give it a go if you like. Try the Rakamisa Lager if you happen to see that. That is quite an experience. Okay, well, we'll look at another beer from them in our next review. Take care. Bye-bye.